Welcome back to the Building Bigger Lives podcast. I'm Katherine Peterson here with my co host, Michael Regan. Today we have another guest. We love bringing guests to you, and we try to do that roughly every other week. And today is kind of fun because it's someone I've been watching online for a while. Reese is here with us, but first I'm going to bring in Michael. Michael, thanks for being here today.
Always happy to be with you, Catherine, and it's great to get to do these. It's fun to interview people in general, but this one's really fun for me because Liz is someone I am aware of, but not someone I've had the pleasure of spending time with. So for me, I'm just as excited to hear this interview as I am to participate in it. So Liz, welcome into the frame. We're really happy to have you today.
Yeah, I'm excited too. This is great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so let me set this up a little bit. So you've been in mortgage for 22 years. You have three kids, two in college, one still at home. So you're definitely still in the thick of it.
Yeah.
And really for you, you kind of, when we had our pre-call, you talked about really counseling your clients through the process to make sure they're making a decision that's great for them, which is always kind of near and dear to my heart when we're dealing with clients and just being very consultative. And that's how I see you online as well. But we're really excited to talk to you about is some of the online stuff you've been doing. So first, kind of fill us in on anything else that we're missing as far as what are the passions that you're bringing into your business right now?
Yeah, I mean, I always will tell people when I get an introduction to them, like via text or something, like when is a good time to hop on a call to help you make a smart mortgage decision? Sometimes people think that the best rate is the way to go, right? But there's more to it and people don't understand it. So I want to help them make the decision that makes sense for them, not the one that maybe like the targeted ad on something pops up on their social media or their uncle says at Thanksgiving dinner or something, you know. So I think that's important is that people are being really smart about it and what's my plan in 5 years. So let's make a plan that makes sense for you.
So do you market yourself as a mortgage planner in that respect? Do you speak more as an advisor than as just a loan originator, or do they understand that before they've had that opportunity to be referred to you?
That's a really good question, actually. I mean, I would say I'm a advisor for sure. I'm not a loan originator. I think there are those out there, right? And they work in the call
Hmm.
centers and they push paper around and they also maybe used to work at Starbucks 6 months ago. So, I always kind of joke about that. Like, I've been in it for a long time and have the personal experience of having purchased three houses and have a rental property and, uh, you know, different kinds of real estate investing. So I think I personally bring that to the table along with just advice, like I want to do the thing that makes sense for you. And I do like a good deal. It's just part of me personally to like, I want to also look for a good deal. So,
You talked a little bit about just your own personal situation as it relates to how you present yourself professionally. Where did that come from, Liz? Were you raised in a home where real estate was an important part of the financial plan, or were you impacted by something? I'd love to hear a little bit about the story of where that genesis of being an advisor might have come from.
um, okay. Well, so no, so I grew up with single mom. We had two little sisters, and I remember when my mom bought her first house, in I was probably in sixth grade. And I don't think at the time I really understood the impact of that. But I do, like, we lived with my grandma for a while. I shared a bedroom with my mom a lot of my childhood. Um, and it's kind of like now in hindsight as an adult who's had kids, and I don't know how my mom did any of it, not being married, that I really can appreciate her buying her own house. Like she didn't have to get a cosigner. She saved for it and how awesome that is. So I wouldn't say I had like an upbringing in that kind of a like in a real estate structure, but I did always have an entrepreneur spirit. So I think in me, there was always going to be something in me as an adult that was going to run my own business, even in high school, like my first job actually was I would plant flowers for businesses. And so I was like, I planted flowers for an entire water park. And I'm like 17 and I'm out there like they just had hired me as like a little contractor and um, at restaurants and people's houses and stuff like that. So I just was, it was just always been in me to have something like that. So whatever the thing was, now as an adult, it's real estate, but it was always going to be something. So it's more
And
entrepreneur than real estate. Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah, no, absolutely it does. And I think that there's there's people who kind of have that, and the more we talk to people over many episodes, it's like, oh yeah, when I was a kid I did this. And so your story is pretty common, which is great. I think a lot of the people who have that entrepreneurial spirit end up in our industry. But then
Yeah.
tell me kind of what happened beyond that, because after you had your own business, I mean, that's amazing. I'm surprised you didn't end up in that industry in
Well,
general.
I went to
So,
college. I have a degree in horticulture, actually. Like that kind of was the path I was on. But when my husband and I graduated from college at Utah State, we actually, his family is out in California. So we came out to help his parents. They owned a window treatment business, so like blinds, shades, and shutters. And we were running our own blind shades and shutter business. And we had somebody from church just ask us if we were interested in learning about mortgage, like doing mortgage. And I was kind of like, what's a mortgage? Like I don't know. Sure, let's see. And so I do think that it's been this huge unexpected blessing. Like in college I had a friend or one of my roommates was a business major and I was like, boring. I'm like in my fruit production class or something. Like I'm in these like sciency flower like classes like that, and she's like taking accounting, and I was like, oh, that's so boring. But then when I like so we interview with this company and we're like really interested in it, and so we flip to it, and I actually really liked it. I was just surprised, like really pleasantly surprised, because I think I'm not sure that any little kid, unless their parent is a loan officer, has like a dream of being a loan officer. But it's ended up being a huge blessing for us. Like I'm super thankful that we got into real estate. And I do think that the secret sauce in real estate is mortgage. I think a lot of people get into real estate and want to be real estate agents because that's what you see on TV and they get the pretty doors and it's very exciting in that sense. But I do think there is, on a bigger range, more financial opportunity for people to be on the lending side versus the realtor side. That's just my
mhm.
opinion, but
Hey, it's a popular opinion, so we're going to go with it. As you look then at the opportunity you have on that side of within the housing industry, you get that unique angle where you're able to not only advise folks on what's appropriate for them, but you're also able to educate them on what a lot of these pieces mean. And it sounds like you might have, as a younger person or even as a young adult, benefited from that education. Does that inspire you today when you think about, oh my gosh, the things I didn't know and now the things I can help other people with? What does that feel like to you as this now, veteran on the lending side of our space? What does it feel like to know you're impacting people's financial future? What is that like?
yeah, I think that it's amazing that we have, or that I guess I should say, I have a job that makes such a huge impact on people's lives. Um, Not to say that other businesses don't have value for sure, but I think that the type of change that we can change the trajectory of like generations of people's lives. And that we can help them do that in a way that can save them money, that they can be smart about it, that they can make a good decision about it is amazing. It's a lot of pressure sometimes, a lot of times, but I think that there's two sides of it. Like I do help first time home buyers, and we just helped a guy that his landlord told him, whatever the allowed amount of days is 60 days or whatever, like you have to move. And so he was going to buy, he was just going to go rent again, thinking that was just, okay, I'm going to go rent. And somebody had said to him, like, why don't you just see if you can buy a house? And so his agent connected him with me, and we just closed yesterday on a house. Like he
Mm,
was going to rent, like he was just planning on, like, this is my next step is to rent, find a new place. But instead, like he got into a house. He's this actually single dad that we just like that was awesome. He's like super unexpected, always had disqualified himself for it. And finally, just let's just see. And if I can't, then I can't, and no big deal. But it ended up that he totally could. And so that was awesome. I love that. And then I do on the other pendulum of things help people in the reverse mortgage space. And gosh, dang it, the impact of those is like that gets your heart because uh
mm.
it's significant. You know, some of these seniors have like this is it. This is all they have left and they're struggling and to be able to solve that problem is pretty it's awesome.
Wow, that's awesome. And and one of the things I like, I'm hearing it now too, is you can kind of hear your passion for what you do. But one of the things that I love about Liz is that comes through in your social media so well. I feel like I already know you fairly well, even though we haven't had many conversations. But you are so authentic online. And I don't think that that's a skill that everybody has. And I don't know if that was just something you've always had and you've always been authentic online, or if that's taken some training or some muscle work where you said, "Hey, I'm going to
I
try it
think
and
all
see
of
how it
that is
goes."
true.
Huh?
Yeah, I think all of that is true. I think you start out uncomfortable, right? And there was a mentor that I had before she passed away, and she had said, and I tell all the agents that I coach on social media about this, is to get the suck over with. Like everybody sucks at first. Everybody does. It's uncomfortable for all of us. We all hate how we look and sound on social, like we all hate it, but like this is how you look and sound, you know? So just get the suck over with. When you don't post, when you're not going to post once a week or whatever your goal is, you're just dragging it out, you know, like get it over with. Get the suck over with. So I always say that.
Yeah, but tell us more about that because in the way you just phrased that just seems so, yeah, just
Just get
get
over it.
just get in the pool, start swimming. You're gonna figure it out.
Right.
But I want to help our audience.
Sure.
Pretend there's an audience member out there today who says, "Yeah, yeah, but." How do you help someone with the mindset? Because you just touched on it, but I want to dig into it. Someone who has the mindset, and maybe let's just play a different scenario. Maybe their mindset isn't the I don't like how I look or I don't like how I sound. Maybe they have a different mindset of I don't I don't like the atmosphere of this, or I don't like the interaction, or they're having some sort of hang up. How do you help people think through that? Because, as Catherine said, you've clearly figured that out and still retained your authenticity. You haven't become someone different online than who we're visiting with right now. How do you help that person who's got these hangups that go beyond just what do I look like? What do I sound like?
Hmm. Well, somebody had given me, well, let me start with this advice because I think it does go into the next is that somebody had said to me, just don't watch your videos. Like if you can get through what you're going to say without, you know, sometimes you have to redo it because you stumble over what you want to say. If you can get through what you want to say without stumbling, then just post it and don't even watch it. Because then you're not going to like pick apart your like, oh my gosh, my hair and you know, whatever. I said something dumb, you know, like it's just, you know, I think that that was a really good tip, I thought, because I think we do pick ourselves apart. And then the other part of it is to not say no for the audience. Like our responsibility, especially I think because we have something that is so impactful for people's lives that it's our responsibility to get it out there because and if you don't get it out there then some guy who doesn't know what they're talking about is going to talk to your mom and he's going to screw her in a reverse mortgage because he's willing to show up online and you weren't. So I think there's a little bit of It just does come down to mindset to some degree, as everything in our lives does. And I do think it is as simple as just get over it and stop saying no for the audience, because they don't know what you know. And sometimes we think, well, this is so basic. Like, well, it's so basic, so you've been doing it for 20 years. Like, it's not so basic to everybody. And so show up and get over yourself and start educating. And if you think you're good at your job, then it's your responsibility to get out there and share.
Hmm. That's a great way to look at it. And I think you're exactly right. We're holding back the knowledge that we should be sharing with others. So that's a great way to do it. But I think the other piece that I still want to dig into a little bit is you're also good at having fun online. And that's, I think, a skill that can be kind of difficult to translate. So what are some tips that you have for people about just, actually showing a personality and having some fun in what you post?
Yeah, I think people get really worried about, like, well, I'm so private, like, oh, I don't want to share that piece of me. And that's okay. I think there's a difference between being personal and being private. I don't think you need to share everything private, or do I think you should share everything that's private? But the more you can be a little bit vulnerable, the like think about the people online that you follow, and maybe if they share something about, their business, like you like it, you respect that that's what they're sharing. But when they share something about themselves, and you also feel more connected to them, because maybe like, oh, I love to go skiing there too, or I didn't know they love that beach, or my kids just left for college too, and my heart is heavy. Like, like all of those, that's how we are connecting with people. So it's not, sometimes I will get on my feed because I follow so many real estate agents, because I'm trying to like create relationships, right? But sometimes it's such a giant commercial that if
Mm.
you can pop in there with something that's just like you're just a person, then you're going to connect with people, I think, so much better. And then that connection then turns into conversion. And I will say, I actually, right before this call, I talked to two people who follow me on social media who I haven't talked to in like 3 years. But they, like, we did a pre approval call in 2021, right? And like, my system has connected with them once in a while, but like, I have not maybe personally made a phone call to them, but they remembered me. And part of that is like showing up in my social media and not have it all be like, did you know you don't need to have 20% down to buy a house? Like, it's more, there's just more to it. So, yeah.
When you think about your strategy, and you're definitely, pushing a great visibility strategy, and you're staying true, and as Catherine said, you're having fun, which feels like the right trifecta for you. What's the thing you're most proud of when you look back at how you've pushed yourself over the last 5 years to create the following and the system that allows you to have those kind of ongoing relationships? What are you most proud of, Liz?
I feel really proud at myself at how consistent I am. Actually, there's a lot of things in my life personally, I think I feel like I'm falling short in sometimes. And I think we're all hard on ourselves in like, oh, I should be doing my phone calls better. I should be doing, all these things. But I do feel really proud that, like, you guys, I post 3 times a day, every day. And that's a lot. It's a lot, but it also only takes me maybe 45 minutes. So it may look like I'm online all day long, but I'm not. I set it up consistently every morning at 6:30 a.m. I just sit and I do my posts and I get them scheduled for the day, and then I'm done. And so I am proud at how consistent I am with that.
Liz, are you posting right now while we're recording?
No, but I did take a picture of us already, so
Oh,
Oh,
good.
I
good.
will be
Oh,
posting
good.
it.
Yay, tag us.
Yeah.
So I think that one of the things that I want to do is just get maybe a little bit more vulnerable. Speaking of that, so tell me about a failure that you've had and kind of how what you learned from that, how you overcame from that.
Gosh, I am like the worst on the spot person. You needed to prepare me for this one. Um, I don't know. I have to, I'm not saying I don't have failures. I definitely do. I think I'm really good at like I had a coach one time say, um, you have to just go on to the next. Like don't sit in
Mm.
it. Don't ruminate. You know, you might feel bad for a minute, like, oh, that deal, I just lost that deal because maybe something that I did or whatever. But like, don't sit in it and ruminate and roll around in it and, you know, rub it all over yourself. Like, then you
That
just like
sounds
go
awful,
on,
Liz.
like, go on to the next. Like, okay, next. And so I think in the past, I probably have had moments, and maybe that's why he coached me on it is to like, don't stop sitting in it. Like, just, okay, you gave yourself a minute, on to the next. So,
Okay, so and to be fair, not trying to put you on the spot, but maybe then the lighter side of that. What has surprised you most? I mean, as you've gone down this road and you've adventured into a world of, I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna watch the videos that maybe I didn't feel comfortable with. I'm not gonna sit in it and rub it all over. I'm just gonna keep moving on. I love those, the spirit of those. So what's really surprised you the most as you figured out how to do this 3 times a day? Every day for now years running. What are you
yeah.
surprised by?
I think what I'm surprised by is when I run into people at like a forward event or
Mhm.
actually even around town or I was somewhere maybe an hour away from where we lived and I went into this lighting store, so super random. And somebody was like, "Oh my gosh, Lone Lady Liz," you know. I was like, "What?" You know, so I think sometimes I'm surprised that people are paying attention, you know, that it's um I'm just surprised if when I run into somebody somewhere and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I love your videos," or "You did the video on this and I put my kids on my credit card because you told me I should," you know, and I was like, "Really? Like you're what? You're listening?" Or I have this one. I always say to people, practice making your house payment right now. Like pay your rent and then put the difference into a savings account so that someday when you have to make that $3,500 a month house payment, it's not like, lush. It's not so shocking because you're just used to it. You've been doing it. Bonus, you're going to save money doing it. And I had a little first time home buyer. She's so cute. And I hadn't talked to her. It had been like, I mean, we check in, but she hadn't gotten ready again for maybe 2 years. And so I did that whole pitch of like, practice making your house payment, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, Liz, I already did. That's why I have $50,000. I was like, you listened to me? Like, oh my gosh, can I introduce you to my kids? Like, so yeah, so that I love that. That's maybe been surprising that people are listening and paying attention. I think that's fun. And
Okay,
that's
well,
the
knowing
thing of
that
it.
there,
Like I could think like, oh, this is so boring. Like, I mean, sometimes loan stuff is boring, right? Like, what's more boring? Maybe insurance, you know, like it's just is boring information, but I'm just surprised that people are paying attention, which reminds me to not say no to the audience, right? Or no for the audience. Don't say no for the audience.
your comment resonates, but we're going to have an audience of folks that are listening, and I'll bet most of us think that our jobs at some measurable level are boring. I think it's
Yeah.
what we do with that and how the purpose behind it and the enthusiasm we bring to it, the real life applications. Those things help make it a heck of a lot better than boring. And I think Catherine's earlier point is you do such a great job of that from what we get to see. And really, that's what your audience gets to see. That's why they do recognize you and they're willing to maybe follow some tips and directions from you even before you've had the opportunity to even properly analyze their situation. They're already practicing it.
Can I just give a really easy tip for anybody, no matter the industry, for social media, like videos? Okay, thanks. Um, Make the video after you're done doing the thing. So, like, if you hang up with a client, hurry and make a video that just says, I just helped this client who didn't think they could buy a house. And now that we've got them pre approved, or they're going to put in their loan application, or maybe it's a life insurance guy. And I just got off the phone with my client whose husband just died, and she's devastated and doesn't know what she's going to do. And I just helped her see that she's got $500,000 in an insurance policy. You know, like those kinds of things. Like if you can record the video right when you get off the call, you have some energy around it, right? Like you're feeling a lot of like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Listen to this. Um, you don't have to post it, just save it as a draft and then edit it later. Like, so the story's fresh. If you put it in your notes app of like, talk about this later, then when you get to it later, you've lost the energy of it. And maybe you have a script and whatever, but you probably won't even get to it because you've lost the energy of it. So, like, that would be a huge tip for any industry, anybody doing any social media. How do I make these videos and find time? Because nobody has time for it. You have time to record a quick 2-minute video that you can edit later, but just save it as a draft, either on your phone or in your Instagram app or something, and then edit it when you're ready to post it.
That's a great tip. I love that one because energy does come through in video too. So I think it's
Yeah,
a
for
great
sure.
point to pick up.
And it's fresh on your mind too.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, sometimes just coming up with the story is the hard part. So that's
yeah,
great.
but you'll just have
So
had the story. You just
I
did the
know.
story, right?
Yeah, so true.
Yeah.
So something you mentioned, but I want to make sure that I pull it out of what we talked about. You had said that you are also helping real estate agents with social media. So talk us through how you've kind of transitioned into that leadership or teaching role a little bit in what you're doing.
Yeah, so as a loan officer, we need to provide value to real estate agents, right? We need to find a way to um, be a support to them. And a lot of times I think loan officers look at that as well, these are the products I have. These are the programs that I have. These are the things I can help their clients with. The way that I approach it more is like I do all the things that all the other people do, and I'm really good at my job, and I'm going to communicate to you, and I'm going to answer my phone. And if I can't, I'll call you back, kind of thing. Like, I'm good at my job. Let me show you how to get more business, and then let's work on that business together. So, let me show you some things that will help you get, sometimes loan officers might get like a lead that doesn't have a real estate agent. They can toss that back to the agents. Like, I guess it's kind of that concept of like teach a man, you can give a man a fish or teach him how to fish. Like, it's that kind of thing. So, and it's fun. I mean, obviously, I like doing it. I have a passion for like the social media, and I'm in masterminds and have done a lot of coaching within that space. So I have a lot to share. But I think like, let me help you get more business, and then let's work on that business together. Because I have all the loan products. I got that. Let's get clients.
Okay,
Great.
one more tip I want to seek out, Liz. When you're preparing for your week and the days throughout the week, give us a glimpse into the process you follow or the systems that you've created. Catherine and I have talked a lot about, the importance of a morning routine and the systems we create, but I'm always interested to learn from other folks how they're currently preparing for their week and their days. Give us a glimpse at what that might look like for the audience.
For like my whole job or just the social media part of my job?
Yeah, you're the whole thing because to me, even what you're doing with your branding and any of the promotion, it has to fit within the context of the revenue generating activities that you're responsible for. They go
Right.
hand in
Yeah.
hand. So I'd love to know that because that may help demystify this a little bit for someone that's like, I don't even know where to get started. How do you get started on a
Yeah.
Sunday when you're preparing for your week?
I do think that it's really important to, like time blocking, right? That's like that word is fun. But I do think that you've got to pick times that work for certain like specific things because I do think that that helps you stay within uh, like it helps you get it done if you know that's your schedule. And also it creates order. I went to a mortgage marketing animal, so I'll give them credit for this idea of it. Where they said you need to pick when your client consultations are. So like for me, it's from 1 to 4 every day. That's the client consultation window because if it's all the time and you're available all the time for all the different things, your day kind of runs you instead of you running your day. So if you can have blocked times for your green time. So like my green time is from 10 to 12 every day. So that's on my calendar blocked off. Nothing gets into that space. And if there is a day where I have like some kind of a marketing meeting or something, then that green time just gets shifted. Now, am I perfect at it? No, I'm not perfect at it. But the schedule is set and the time is set for those things. And I have found that I am available in the evenings if I need to take a call from somebody who can't fit within that window. But like most of the time, everybody finds a way to fit within that space. And so that creates a lot of order in my day, which I really appreciate. As far as like my morning routine goes, like I go to kickboxing. That class is at 6 a.m. So my alarm goes off at 5:25. I get up, I go to kickboxing, then that's a 45-minute class. And when it's over, I actually sit in my car and I do my 3 social media posts for the day. I get them scheduled and then I go home. So I've left that parking lot by like 7:25 and then I go home and get ready for my day and have team meetings at 8:30 and then start with my like green time and partner calls and all of that stuff. So, but if I can't do the social media post at 6:45 in the morning, I maybe won't get to it at all that day. Like it's really I know in my schedule if I miss that, I'll probably miss the social media posting stuff. So
Yep. Bundling of habits or stacking habits, right?
yeah.
So that's always good. Well, great. Well, I want to start to get us closed out, but what do you want to make sure that our audience remembers about Liz?
Oh,
Is
Liz
there
Reese.
anything that
Lone Lady Liz. Well, you can follow me on Instagram at Lone Lady Liz.
great?
And I'm Lone Lady Liz on all the things. So I have found some success in the reverse mortgage space on TikTok. LinkedIn is Lone Lady Liz. Like it's Liz Reese, but it's Lone Lady Liz on there. And, so it's like there's that consistency of that. But yeah, follow me on social. If anybody has any questions or like just look at this video or who's editing your stuff, like please DM me. I'm happy to share. There's no gatekeeping here for me. Like I'm maybe an oversharer in some of that stuff. So
Well, and maybe that creates a good final question for me too, Liz. What are you excited about? You've got so many good things going on. What are you looking forward to when you look into the window that we're walking into? This next 5 years, 2026 through 2030, is shaping up to be a really interesting season in the housing industry. Yeah, what are you excited about?
yeah, I'm excited I feel like we've had a pretty okay year and I'm excited. Like, I think we're in what do they call it? Cycle, right? Like a hard cycle. I think people are really struggling in our industry and we've done okay. So I'm excited for it to be awesome. I'm excited for it to be a good year and have it like be so much better.
Well, we're excited that you joined us today. It was really fun getting to hear from you and to get a glimpse at why your energy translates so well. And I'm so thankful that Catherine suggested that we get the chance to interview you. Thank you for joining us today, Liz.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun. Anytime.
Well, Catherine, I think that'll put a wrap on today's episode. As always, we appreciate you out there listening and following us at Building Bigger Lives. Please, as you do get a chance to tune in on Apple or Spotify, Audible, or even if you watch us on the YouTube channel, we love not only your comments, but we love when you get to share our content. And we certainly appreciate when you help us attract new followers and audience members. So thanks again for joining us. We'll catch you as we do each and every Wednesday with a new episode of Building Bigger Lives. We hope you have a great afternoon.